everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I want to reread. I have been in a bit of a reading slump this year, as I've mentioned before on my channel. So the way that I have been getting out of that reading slump has been by rereading my favorite books, and I have already reread a few of my all-time favorite books, and it just made me really excited to reread even more of my favorites because I just want to get back into these stories and like annotate them and highlight them and just revisit all of these books that I loved so much that I read last year. Let me know in the comments below what books you want to reread this year and what are the books that you reread the most often, because I know that for me there are a few books here and there that I just love rereading over and over again. Also, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for 900 subscribers and for all of the love that you have been giving me on my cozy reading vlog. I was not expecting that video to do so well. When I decided to get back into booktube, I honestly had no idea that I would reach this point so fast and that I would be getting so much love on my reading vlogs. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for that, because it just makes me really excited that I decided to get back into booktube and talk about books and the things that I love with other people who also love those things. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all of the support on that video and for deciding to hit subscribe and join my little corner of booktube. It means a lot to me, and I'm really excited to be making videos again because I just have a lot of ideas and I just really want to talk about books with other people that also love books. So yeah, so let's just dive into all the books that I want to reread. So I have a few here. At the top of my pile I have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I love this book so much. I read it last year and I just absolutely loved it so much. I loved all of these characters, and just the bond that these characters have is just so beautiful. I actually have two copies of this book. I have this one, then I have one in the back on display because that's just how much I love this book. And I devoured it. Like, I read it in I think like 1 or 2 days. I just flew through this book and I loved it so much. So yeah, I really want to reread this one. It's been at the back of my mind for a while, wanting to reread this one because I just love this book and this story. So this next book, when I was putting together this list, I didn't really think about this book as a book that I wanted to reread, but I saw people on Goodreads have been reading it recently, so I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna revisit this book, and that is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sanz. This book I read so long ago, but I remember really enjoying it even though I didn't give it a star rating on Goodreads. For whatever reason, I read this in 2017 and I remember really enjoying this story. It just follows Aristotle and Dante and their relationship forming, and I remember it being a beautiful story. And the second book came out last year and I do own it, and I have not read it yet because I want to reread this one first. I just got in the mood to reread this one because people were reading it on my Goodreads, and I was like, you know what, I think it's time to finally reread this story and revisit these characters and Aristotle and Dante and their beautiful love story. So yeah, I'm really excited to reread this one and then dive into the second book, which is called Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, if I'm not mistaken. Very long title, but yeah, really excited to reread this one. This next book has been on my mind for so long. It is all over my Twitter. I am on book Twitter and I just keep seeing people sharing quotes from this book, and I just want to reread it so badly. I don't know why I haven't yet, but that book is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Pure friends to lovers excellence. I don't know how else to describe it. This is the definition of friends to lovers. Like, this is the epitome of friends to lovers, done beautifully, done so well, because Alex and Poppy, they have this friendship that goes on for like 10 years, and they just have this beautiful friendship that eventually blossoms into a relationship. And it's just the yearning and the angst and the everything about this book is so good, and I've just been dying to reread it because I did reread Beach Read last year and I loved it as well, and I really want to reread this one and remember what Emily Henry has done for me in the past, because Book Lovers was not good. So I just want to dive back into the ones that I know and love, like Beach Read and People Meet on Vacation. And my copy has, I actually have a signed book plate, which is just really exciting, and I just love this book so much. I just need to reread it. If I see one more quote on Twitter about Alex and Poppy, I'm just gonna stop everything that I'm doing and reread this, because this book is just so good. The next book that I want to reread is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This book is so good. I don't know why I haven't reread this yet, but this book is just so good. Brendan and Piper are just I don't know how to describe this. This is my first Tessa Bailey, but she knows how to write a good romance. Like, this is like the epitome of a perfect romance. Piper, our heroine, has some traits that other people don't really like about her, but then we have Brendan, our hero, who loves all of those things about her and just loves everything about her and encourages her and her hobbies, and he spoils her so much, and it's just so good. So I need to reread this one because this is just pure magic. I really need to reread this one, especially after Hook, Line, and Sinker, which was a 2-star read for me. So I just want to remember just how good this series is by rereading this book. The next book that I want to reread, I read at the beginning of 2021. It was the first book that I read that year, and it was probably one of the most amazing books that I have ever read. It was so beautifully told, and it was just so heartbreaking and frustrating to read, but it was such an important read, and that is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. If you don't know who Chanel Miller is, she is the Emily Doe survivor of the Stanford sexual assault case, and this is her telling her story of everything that happened that night, everything that followed after with the court case and everything. And this is just such a beautifully written and just really frustrating story, because you can see all of the pain that she went through and continued to go through the entire trial, and is still going through as she's still like recovering. And I just really want to reread this one because I feel like I'm gonna be able to really absorb it well this time, because of the first time that I read it, I just listened to it on audio, which I highly recommend the audiobook because Chanel Miller narrates it herself. But yeah, I feel like if I have the physical book with me, I'm really going to be able to really dive into this story and really just take more from it than I did the first time, because I remember the first time that I read it, it was on audio, and I was just kind of passively listening to it as I usually do with audiobooks. So I feel like having the physical copy is really gonna be beneficial. I also do want to like annotate, not really annotate, but I do want to like tab the really beautiful quotes that she has every now and then. So yeah, this can be a really heavy read, so I'm gonna have to be in the right mind space to reread this one, but I will get to it at some point. This next book made me cry like 5 times the first time that I read it, because it was just such a beautiful story and I really want to reread it, and that is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This book is so beautiful, so devastating, so heartbreaking, and just so amazing, and just the beautiful stories. Like, I'm just remembering some of the things that happened in this book towards the end, and it's just so beautiful. So I really want to reread this one because I do want to annotate it. This next book is so good. I'm actually going to be rereading it in July because this is Mel Reed's book club pick for July. So I'm really excited to read this one and have a physical copy so I can just annotate it and notice all of the little details that I didn't notice the first time. and that is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. This book is the epitome of gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. I respect men's rights to shut the fuck up. Like, this is the epitome of men are trash, and it is so good. In this one, we follow a college professor who, on her downtime, on her days off, she murders college students that have done terrible things to women. So what more can you ask for than a vigilante, morally gray, sapphic main character? Like, this book has everything. It is just so good. There's so many twists, and that one plot twist, like the main plot twist, I was not expecting it at all, and it was just so good, and I can't wait to reread this one and annotate it. The first sentence of this book, I'll know when it's working when he starts to scream. Like, I have a really hard time with thrillers because I can just never really get into them, but this is the one thriller that I have read so far that I gave 5 stars because this was so good, so perfectly crafted, and the writing was just so easy to follow. I was never confused or trying to figure out what was going on. Like, it was just really easy to follow. So I can't wait to reread this one and annotate it and highlight all of the little moments that foreshadow to the moments at the end. Like, I just know it's going to be a very satisfying reread, so I can't wait to get to it next month. The last book that I have on this list that I want to reread is one that I've just been putting off for a few weeks now at this point, because I read the first book in May and I have not gotten to the second book yet because I just don't want to go through the emotional damage that I know this book is going to cause me, and that is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. If you know what happens in this book, then you know why I have been so scared to reread this, because I don't want to see my favorite characters suffer, you know? This is the first book series that I ever fell in love with. I read it for the first time in high school and I just loved it so much, and I reread Six of Crows twice since then, but I have never reread Crooked Kingdom, and I just don't want to go through that pain. But also I want to finally reread this book and just annotate it. Not this copy, I don't know why I pulled out this copy. I have like the regular hardcover with like the black spray edges. This is the collector's edition. I will not be rereading this specific copy, but I really want to dive back into this world because I love all of these characters so much. Like, this is my comfort group of characters. The crows are literally everything to me. They hold such a special place in my heart, and I just love them so much. So once I have the emotional strength for it, I will definitely be rereading this one and going through all of the pain that comes along with this book. So yeah, those are all of the books that I want to reread. I thought it was gonna be more, but it's actually not that many. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to all of them this year. I would like to, but with the way that my reading slump has been going, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to reread all of them this year. But these are just books that have been on my mind for the past, like, I don't know how long. I just keep thinking about these books and revisiting them and annotating them and highlighting them and just really diving back into these stories because it has been so long since I have read them. So yeah, those are all of the books that I want to reread. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!